If you run a service-based business or you're a freelancer and you'd like to create a website that accepts bookings, this plugin that I'm going to be talking about in this video is probably one of the best plugins to achieve this. Let's dive in and let me show you how to set it all up and explore its functionalities. All right, so the plugin is called BookingPress. So it has both a free version and a pro version. So what we're going to do here is we're going to set up a WordPress website running Divi, and we're going to set up a quick website and then add this feature on it. So as you can see here, we have a few services: a cleaning service, a beauty and salon, a fitness and gym, health and well-being, dental and clinics. I mean, there's a lot that we can choose from, maintenance and repair, yoga classes. So anything that requires some sort of booking, this plugin is there for your rescue. All right, so let's dive in now. So over here, I am running Divi 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install a starter site, because that way it's easier for me to just quickly spin up a website quickly. All right, so that's going to be, so let's call this health and beauty. Now I also want to add, in fact, I don't need a custom page and I don't need WooCommerce. I don't need a blog. Okay, I'm going to leave that as it is. Now let's go ahead and generate and publish site. So what's going to happen now is my website is going to be built behind the scenes, and in a moment I'm going to have a fully functioning website. But this website is going to be static, and to make it all dynamic, this is where this plugin is going to come in. All right, so it's taking its time here. Let's head over to our website here so we can see what it looks like when you try to compare BookingPress versus Amelia, Booknetic and Bookly. All right, so we can see here it's pretty much identical, because this one here is the BookingPress at $79. So one thing that you can see right away is when it depends on the pricing, it is quite competitive. Okay, so when we go ahead here, we can see the support here is for 1 year, whereas over here we have 6 months, here we have 1 year, 6 months, and so on. But what I would like to draw you towards is you can export. They have an import and export tool, which is not over here. And let's continue on. So by the way, all here we have all our check marks, which is fantastic. But over here we can start to see all these crosses. So happy hour pricing is not there, waiting list is not there, staff ratings is not there, overnight bookings is not there. So you can see here that there's a lot missing. Look at that. PayPal Pro is on none of all these. That is crazy. Wow. Okay, Paystack, it's on all of this. Klarna, this is quite interesting because Klarna is a new one. I wouldn't say it's new, but it is quite popular, and it is only on BookingPress. It's not on any one of these. So it's definitely worthwhile to go with the pro version. So I think my site is complete now. Let's head over here and check. I'm going to click now on view my site. And this is going to give me an idea of what my site looks like. Let's refresh this. There we go. So exceptional healthcare close to home. This is brilliant. This is my website here. I mean, I like what it looks like. It's very simple and straightforward. Excellent. I know I might need to go in and do a few touch-ups here and there, but generally speaking, the site is okay. Let's head over now to our dashboard and let's install the plugin so we can get started. All right, so I'm going to click on upload. And by the way, if you're wondering how I was able to add the plugin, if you go to the link that I'll provide in the video description below, it'll take you to BookingPress Plugin. And this is where you need to go ahead and download the free version. You can just click here to download it and it will download. Okay, so let's clean up our tabs for now. All right, so let's go ahead now and upload our plugin. I'm gonna go ahead and click on that, choose file. So my file is in my downloads and here it is. It's going to be the appointment booking. Double click on that, click on install, and this now is going to install on our website. Next, we're gonna go ahead and click on activate to activate our plugin. So now that it's activated, I can come over here to BookingPress, and you can see now it's asking me for information, and I have to enter all this information. So let's start off here with a company name. So I'm just going to call this Mac Health. Okay, and then over here it's asking me for a time format. So I'm going to go with 24-hour format. I just prefer that. And then for our date here, it's fine. But of course, if you're in America, it starts with the year, month, and date. But over here in the UK, I'm going to leave it, as it is over here. Country, I can change this to United Kingdom. There we go. Next, we can enter our phone number here. If it's not mandatory, I'm going to leave that. And then I can enter my logo and my website over here as well. But let's see if I can continue on. Yes, I can. All right, so booking options. This is really cool because what I can do here is I can choose the days that I want to add my bookings and days that I don't want to. So for example, let's say Fridays, I don't want to work on Fridays. I can just scroll up, click on no, and then now no. And then now Friday is not on, which is brilliant. Okay, let's move on to the next one, which is the service. So over here is where I can add my service name. So I'm going to call this service checkups. I don't know. I'm just making this up on the fly. Maybe checkups is one word. Okay, price. Maybe this is $1.99. Duration 30 minutes. Let's set this to 60 minutes. Right. So now that I have this, I'm going to go next. This is where I get to choose my primary color, my title color, subtitle color, and so on. And this is where I get to choose my font. I'm going to leave that as Poppins. And then I'm just going to go ahead now and finish. Okay, great. Now you notice that we have something very interesting here. We have our BookingPress form. We also have the appointments. Now I'm going to keep this page open because I'm going to need these shortcodes as I continue to design my website. Now here it says your site is ready and below are the details. So if I copy this URL here and I paste it like that, you're going to notice something interesting. Now this may not be the way I want it, so I can quickly work on this page called Book an Appointment and have it all set up correctly. So let's just create our pages here so that we have a fully functioning site. All right, so let's try and go into edit page because I know there's a shortcode that was added in here and boom, there it is. So I'm going to copy this shortcode and then I'm going to go into use the Divi Builder. Okay, so in the Divi Builder now, so you can see now that I'm going to have my form in here, which makes things easier. If I wanted to, I can add a heading and really nice heading here, and that will show what this is about. So let's add a text module here, and I'm just going to call this my booking. Okay, I'm going to keep things very simple here. I'm not going to go in and stylize this too much. I'm going to copy. Oops, I'm going to copy all that, and then I'm going to set this to heading 2. Okay, great. And I can just drag this to the top. Now, I'm going to go to my layers, and let's just open my section here so I can see exactly where I am. And there we go. So this one is what I need to drag to the top. So let's save and do a quick preview and see what this looks like. So it's going to open up in a new tab, and sure enough, I have my booking. Look at that, checkups, and there's the price. If I click on that, it's going to take me to the next part, which is my time slot, blah, 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 blah. Now I know I'm going to need a bit of spacing over here. So I'm going to go back, click here, and either I can enter my spacing manually, or in my case, I am using SiteKrafter Pro. So I'm just going to call this empty for margin top, and I'm going to set this to large. I know you haven't seen anything there. It's because of the plugin. But if I save and then I refresh this, you're going to notice that it's going to have the spacing. Look at that. Boom. I got my spacing now, and it looks great. Now I can also add a video here. I can also add an image to this page, but for now, like I said, I'm going to keep things very, very simple. And I like the layout of this. It looks very, very clean. All right, so let's delete that. So I have now my book an appointment page all set, which is fantastic. All right, so what else do I need here? Let's just get rid of that. So the next thing here is BookingPress appointments. So here is where I can get to see my appointments. So book an appointment is what I've just done. And then my bookings is also very important here. So I'm going to come over here. So let's enter my bookings. And again, this page will show all my bookings. Okay, they're all going to be listed here. And this is ideal for me, the owner of the website itself. So my bookings here is going to be very important. Now let's just go in quickly and clean this up and just make sure that all this is filling up on one page. All right, so like what we did before, let's go ahead and add a text module like that. And then I'm going to say my bookings. Okay, so with my bookings now set, I'm just going to highlight all this, set this to heading 2, like I did before. And then I'm just going to go to my item here, and then I'm going to drag and drop it on the top. And sure enough, it's there. I want it centered. So I'm going to make sure it is centered. And then finally, I'm just going to add a bit of spacing there, or margin. And it's going to be empty for margin top, large. All right, so this page now is similar to my other page, my booking page, which is brilliant. So with this all set now, I'm pretty much ready to go. Let's hit preview so I can take a look at my bookings. And there we go. So this is me, the admin, by the way, so I can see all my bookings here if I wanted to. All right, great. So now that I have my bookings, we don't need this page anymore. Let's get rid of that. So I have my appointment page and I also have my bookings page. Now, the beauty of this is you can use pretty much any page builder, because as you can see here, I am using what are known as shortcodes, and these work in any page builder, which is fantastic. All right, so let's continue on now. And we also have our BookingPress form. Okay, now this is very interesting because I can actually literally have my form wherever I want. So over here, I have a specific page, but I can have the shortcode added on a particular part of my website. Now, let me show you how you can also do that as well. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this URL here. In fact, I'm going to open this in a new tab. Let's head over to the dashboard. And then I'm just going to drag this over to the start here. Okay, so what I want here, I am going to copy this BookingPress form. Okay, copy like that. And I want to have this form on my main page. So I'm going to say visit site. And by the way, like I said, I know I keep saying this, you can have this on pretty much any page you want. So instead of having this image here, I can decide to have my form in there, or vice versa. Maybe I want to have my image. I can just swap this for my form. So let's get rid of this button here and this button. And let's go in here and enter our shortcode and see what that looks like. Okay, I've just entered my shortcode in here. Scroll down and see what it looks like. There we go. So we have our form, but you know what? I wanted to have a bit more space on the page, so I can go back in here, go to my columns, so I can go with that, and I think that looks much better. All right, so let's just review, refresh this one more time. And that looks much better. So, okay, we have our form now, which is brilliant. Right, so the next thing we're going to do now is to explore this plugin. Now that we can see how we can create all the pages that we need, let's go ahead and explore this. Right, so back over here, all I need to do now is to exit. And then we're going to go into our dashboard. All right, so BookingPress, when I hover over here, you notice that we have our dashboard, calendar, appointments, and so on. So with all this, we also have add-ons. Now, add-ons are very, very important as well, because they add a lot more to our plugin. So for example, if you wanted to have invoices, you can just upgrade to Pro and have your invoices, your add to cart, you can add your location. Happy hours, you can add advanced discount add-on. So there's a lot here recurring appointment add-ons. These are the type of features you're likely going to need if you want to enhance your website. Look, we have Stripe, we have PayPal Pro, Molly. These are a lot. Paystack, we also have PayFast, PayUmoney. Some of these I've never even heard of, which is brilliant. Okay, so what I want to do now is I'm going to head over now to my account and install the Pro version. How about that? So this is what my dashboard looks like. I am going to just copy this URL for my site. Oops. I'm going to copy that like that, and then come over here to my dashboard and paste the URL. And then I'm going to say add site. The other way that your license has been activated. And in a moment, you're going to notice now that I have all my add-ons. So if I come over here now to add-ons, all I have to do is to go in and start adding them if I need them. So for example, let's say I want to have staff members. I can go in and activate staff members, and it is very, very easy to do. There we go, staff members. If I want coupon management, I can come over here, but before I go to coupon management, I can click here on configure, and this will help me configure my staff members. Okay, now look at that. I have a complete dashboard. It says enable any staff member option. I can just toggle this, and that enables, and then it says least assigned by day. Now I can choose this. Least expensive, most expensive, blah, 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 blah. So these staff members, they are, let's say, for example, you are a medical practice. So you can have the doctor, and you can also have, let's say, a dietitian. You can also have, different staff members, and they can, also have their own charges they want to charge the patients. So this is what this feature would work like. You also have working hours here, so you can set all your working hours. You can see there. So this is a really, really good feature. Okay, so let's head over back to our add-ons. If you want to add a coupon code, perhaps maybe you want people to get a discount first on the first booking, you can activate your coupon here, and you can also go in and set it all up when we go to the payments. Deposit payment, you have multiple quantity as well if you want to, extra services, and as you can see here, there's a lot. We also have these growth plugins. Now, these plugins help your business grow. So you can see here we have our AR member, which is our membership plugin. Now, for those of you that have worked with membership plugins, these are really, really cool. Let's say you have part of your website where you just want a specific group of people to access that information. This is where the membership plugin would come in. So I would actually go in and install it here. We also have AR forms if you want to have these forms. And we also have this WordPress pricing table plugin. Okay, so these are your growth plugins. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in and let's explore what all this looks like. So when you go onto your website and you click on dashboard, this is where you get to see pretty much a bird's eye view of what is happening on your website. And I think this is very nice. It's well laid out. It's clean. If you have any payments, you can see all your revenue over here, and you can actually go in here and choose what sort of range you want to see all your information here. So let's say you want to see it between the 1st and the 20th. It'll show you that information. So this is why this is fantastic. And over here, you also have your upcoming appointments, which is again fantastic. All right, so let's head over now to the calendar. This is where you get to see what is happening on the calendar, who is coming on what day, and where are they pretty much, set up. Over here, you can also add an appointment. So this is where you would manually add an appointment. So you can go in here, select the service. So checkups, you can see here, it's 199. Staff member, you choose your staff member here, but I haven't set it up yet. And then you can select your customer. Remember, this is how you would do it manually. Okay, let's head over back. So the next tab here is the appointments. And again, these appointments can be also set manually. So if you wanted to, you could go in here, add, and then you choose the service. And again, it's checkups. You choose the staff member. Right now, I don't have a staff member, but I'll show you how to add all that. And then this is where you'll select the staff member and then select the customer. But ideally, you want everything to happen manually when people come to your main booking page. So if they come over here, they'll click on that. And let's say, in fact, you know what? Why don't we do this in an incognito window so we can see how this is going to function. All right, so new incognito window. I'm going to paste the URL. So that is where I can book the appointment. But remember, there's no categories added here. So I'll need to go in and create my categories first. And if I go to my home page and I scroll down, we should be able to see that connecting you to better health, there's no categories added. So I'll need to add the categories first, and then we're going to come back over here and see how we can set it all up. Okay, great. Now back over here, let's continue on. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard. So that was the appointments. Next, we have the payments. So over here on the payments, what I like about this is I can go in and manage all my payments. But again, all this needs data for us to go in and sift through this so that it can show you all the payment status. For example, if someone has paid, you can just click on paid here, click on apply, and then it shows you the list of everyone that has paid. Or if you want to see everyone that has been refunded, you can select that and you can see everyone that was refunded. And over here, you can choose the date between, let's say, for example, the 1st of March to the 30th of April. And then you hit apply, and then it will show you all that information over here, which again is fantastic. Next, we have our customers. At the moment, we don't have any customers here. So that is why we don't have anyone over here. Right, let's head over now to services. Now, remember, I added the checkups as the first service. So on the categories here, it's showing all. But ideally, you want to manage your categories and add a new category, okay? So over here, I'm going to call this health checks. How about that? So let's call this health checks. And then I'm going to go ahead and save. So now I have my category called health checks. So I can add a new one. So this one here could be, let's say, fitness checks. Hit save. So those are my two categories. I could go on and on and on, but I'm just going to leave those two as they are. Okay, so here, if I want to add my service, it's easier now for me to go to my categories. But before I do that, I want to go into my checkups here, click on edit. So you can see here, let's go with monthly checkups. Okay, give this a bit of context. So monthly checkups, now I can choose my category, and I'm going to go with health checks as the category. The price is $199, which is brilliant. And I can set a starting date for this service and the expiration date. So maybe I want to do it between a specific time. I can just set it up like that. But you know what? For now, I'm going to leave it as it is. Buffer time is very important because this is the time before the client comes in. So if you want to prepare maybe some notes or the records, this gives you enough time for you to prepare. And the buffer time after is also fantastic because if you do that, then it gives you enough time to then deal with the following client. Now it's asking here for a description. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go into Lorem 2. Like that, and just copy my description over here like that. You know, I'm lazy when it comes to typing, so I'm just going to go in and paste that. That's going to be my description. Okay, fantastic. So now that I have this, I can go in now and save. Now you're probably asking, well, what about the staff members? How do we add the staff members? Well, if you want to add the staff members, first of all, you need to have a user added here on WordPress. So if I go to all users it's going to show me all the users set up here. So you can see I have this one here set up by default. I've called this James Jones. And then I also have Mac over here. Adding one, you can just click here to add one, give the username, email, blah, 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 add the user, and then I'll back over here. Let's leave. Okay, so back over here now, if I want to add my users, I can add them easily. Let's head over now to staff members. All right, so over here on staff members, you can see here, I don't have anyone, but if I want to add, I can just click here on add new. And if I click here, I can create new, I can enter their password. So enter the password here. First name, I'm going to call this Sarah. Last name, and just go with Jones, for example. Email address. And then the phone number, I'm just going to leave that as it is. Visibility, public. And I can also add, you know, like an image there, which will be really cool as well. All right, so if I click on create, assign service to staff member. Okay, so where is that service? Oh, there we go. So I can click on add new and I can select the service. So I can go to monthly checkups. Capacity, it has 1. Okay, I'm going to hit save. And then let's go ahead and save. Excellent. So now we have Sarah Jones as a staff member, which is brilliant. Over here, we have our discounts. So let's say you want to add a coupon code. You can just come over here to add a new one. So let's call this 20. Oh, let's call 50% off. But of course, you can name this whatever you want. So we're going to call this November 50. Maybe you're running a promotion in November. Discount 50%. But if it's a special amount, you can also go in and enter the dollars here. Select customer. I'm going to leave that as it is. But if you have a customer, you can go there and give them a discount. Select the services, monthly checkups, and then number of times uses allowed, 1. Okay, and then you can just hit save. And now I've entered my coupon code, which is nice and easy. Over here, we have reports. Now, these reports are more detailed as compared to what we have on the dashboard, because over here, I can do my revenue report, I can do my customer report, and I can do my appointment reports. It's based also on time. So I can choose whatever time here. And yeah, pretty much I can also choose my service here. If it's checkups, I can go in and do it based on checkups. Next, I also have customize. So this is where we have our forms and custom fields. So let's start with forms. So remember, we had that form we had on our main page. This is where we can come in and further customize it. So we can choose how we want this to look. So here we have our staff. So this is what it looks like. We have our date and time. This is what it looks like. We have our details. So there's different ways, you know, this can be shown. Over here now, on the right, on the left, you can have the booking form sequence, right? So you can start with staff selection or you can start with service selection. It's pretty much up to you. And then over here, the booking wizard tabs, you can go in and set it on the top if you prefer that. So let's see if something changes. I'm going to hit save. And I know my booking page here should update. Let's go ahead and check. There we go. It's on the top. But the problem is the space is too small, so it doesn't really look nice. But if I come over here to this page, let's refresh this. It looks much better. Look at that. So I can start off here by taking a look at the staff if I want to, but this is the flow. This is how it's going to go through. So it starts with the service. I can go in here, choose my service. Look at that. I can choose my staff member here. And then it takes me to the date. I can choose my date. And then I can go to basic details and summary. I mean, isn't that really neat? and really nice. Now, the fact that I can do all these customizations over here is brilliant. I can enable a search box. So let's say I have so many services. I can go in here and it's saying service step. Okay, let's try that. I'm going to come back over here, hit save. Now, this is really cool. Now, let me show you. I'm going to refresh this now and take a look at what happens. We now have our search and I can search over here. So if you have a lot of services, you can start searching over here and this will show up. Isn't that cool? All right. So you can see this is very functional, well thought of, and it is full of features. Right here, I can hide a service selection step. I mean, there's a lot I can do. Hide service description. I can do that by coming over here. But if I want to leave the description on, I can do that. And then notice what happens. I'm going to save this. I know I'm just going to be going back and forth because I really love this customization. Okay, look at that. It's going to have the description now. Boom, look at that. It now has a description. So if I was to add more and more and more, this is going to have a list of all my services. All right, so I'm sure you can get the idea that there's a lot I can do here. And it also has a thank you page and so on. Right, so that's how we customize. We also have the customer panel. So this will be my panel, okay? So this is where I get to see all my customers. I can go in and allow repeat booking if I want to, or if I want my staff to go in and rebook people, they can always come over here, cancel the appointment if they want to. They can do all sorts of things here, which is brilliant. Now, you're probably wondering, what if you want to adjust the notifications? Well, BookingPress has fantastic settings here on the notifications. If I go in on the notifications here, we have a long list of emails on approval. For example, here it says, dear first name, customer last name. Okay, so we have a break here. I mean, I wish this was done in a much better way. So anyway, it says you have successfully scheduled appointment. And then if you want, you can add the shortcode here and this will be the service name. Boom, I'll add the service name here. So now this will say you have successfully scheduled appointment, whatever it is. Okay, and then thank you for choosing us. And then it also mentions the company name, which will be your company name, which is brilliant. So you can do this on all these emails, on rejection, on cancellation, on rescheduled, and so on. So this is really, really cool. Okay, let's move on. I know there's something else here. We have the settings, which is what we've been going through. So these are the main settings. And again, these settings are also very important. So globally, you can set your working hours. So if you want to say, okay, Mondays, I don't want to work, you can just come over here, boom, scroll all the way to the top and then set this to off. So Monday is off. Thursday, let's say you have a break at lunchtime, add a break, and then you'd come over here. Start time, let's say between 1300, which is right here, 1300 and 1400. So let's say this is the time you're taking your break. I'm going to hit save. Boom. And now my break is there. So when we take a look now at the booking page, it will not have this. Now you might be thinking, well, does that really work? Absolutely. Let me show you. So it's Thursday. Yep. Okay. Let's go ahead and check. And Monday, by the way, is going to be off. So now we're going to refresh this. Okay, so let's start going through this now. Boom, we're going to choose Sarah. And now date, remember, Mondays is not there, right? So Monday is grayed out. So that's the first thing. And then remember, we also set a time for the break, which is here. No, is it? No. Okay, let's continue on. Let's say I want to choose, let's go back. I think it was Thursday. Yes, Thursday, between 1300 and 1400. Okay, so Thursday, I'm going to select that. So do you see now, it has 9:30, 10:30, one slots, blah, blah, blah. And then it starts here at 1400 because that's after my lunch break. It says afternoon. So this actually works and it's really, really cool. Oh my goodness. All right. So I know I'm getting overexcited because this booking system here is brilliant. I can also further go in and add my holidays if I wanted to add my specific holidays. And the cool thing about this as well is you can scroll down here and let's say your holidays between let's say June 2025. I can go and say I'm taking a break on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I can give this a name. So I'm going to call this Mac Holiday. But of course, if it's a Christmas holiday, you want to go ahead and do that. If you wanted to repeat, you can repeat that every month, every year, or whatever it is. So now my holiday is added, which is brilliant. I can also add special days here. So you can see here, I can add my start date and so on for my special days. Payments. Payments are very important. So this is where you get to choose your payment gateway. So right now it's pay on site, but you can also have PayPal. You can activate it here and then you can just go live or you can just keep it in the sandbox and so on. Now I haven't activated all the payment options from the pro version, but once you activate it, they all show up over here. Messages, these are all your messages here. They can all be set up. No service selected for booking. You can go in here and that's the service the message that will show. We also have the license here. This is my license. Staff members, I can go in here. And for all my staff members, I can enable any staff member option. I also have my appointments here. I can manage all my appointments. There's a lot I can do here. If you want to debug, you can take a look at the debug log. All right. And so now let's take a look at one more option here, which is the add-ons. Okay, so this is where you get to add all the necessary items that you may need in order to add more functionality. Okay, so deposit payments, you can activate it like that. And boom, that's going to be activated. And then you can just go ahead and configure it. Next, we also have our featured. You have your invoice, your tax, your cart add-on. We also have happy hour, pricing. We also have location add-on. Look at this. This is a lot. Recurrent appointment add-on. We also have a service package add-on, multi-staff, waiting list. This will be a really good one, the waiting list. So all these you get when you sign up with the pro version, okay? And then the payment gateways, this is what I was talking about. If you click here to add Stripe, you can go set up all your Stripe using your business details. And then this will be, added. Okay, so I'm not going to do that right now. So back over here. Look at all these payment gateways. They are a lot. We also have other integrations. We have Outlook calendar integration. We have Google calendar integration. We also have Zoom integration. So let's say you have a service where you want to have, let's say, a one-to-one with someone. You're in different locations, maybe perhaps even different countries. You can actually add Zoom into all this and then integrate it, and Zoom will be part of the whole setup system, which is brilliant. Omnisend, very good for emails. Aweber, also fantastic. We have our SMS notifications, which is brilliant as well. WhatsApp notification, I really like this. This WhatsApp notification, it is fantastic. Now, what I would like to see in the future, and what I would like to see here is services like Fluent CRM and so on, because it's become the standard now for email marketing automation, and I would like to see that integration here. Apart from that, this is very, very, very powerful. I'm sure you can see even in my demo here that there's a lot that we can do, and it's unbelievable. So this is a all-in-one booking service, and this can work pretty much for any industry in the service industry. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments box below. In my opinion, this is something that I'll definitely go for. It's solid, and The UI is fantastic. The way it's laid out is fantastic. So I would definitely go ahead and purchase this. I will leave a link to that in the video description below. Go ahead and check it out. By using that link, you are also supporting me. So thank you very much in advance. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again in the next one. Take care.